Hello and welcome to another video game story time with me, Sky Fellowship. Today's episode is going to be entitled something along the lines of video games have a distinct advantage over traditional board and card games. And yeah, I don't know the best place to start this other than, I guess, start with cards. I have been very much, not so much avoiding Magic the Gathering my entire life. It's more that I've never actually had anyone to play Magic with at all, and I have always had a little bit of interest. When they did the Lord of the Rings set, I had a huge amount of interest, but again, I've never had anyone to play it with. I knew a couple of people who were into it a long time ago and completely got out of it. I know people who were no longer in my life. So for the most part, I've only actually ever played Magic twice online on Tabletop Simulator, and the entire experience was very jank. I won my first game using a pre-con Lord of the Rings deck, and the second game, there were three of us. It was me and a couple of women, and one of the women had a very bad deck, and I obliterated her. The other had a very specific deck. I don't know, obviously, a lot of the terminology or anything, but basically all of us kind of realised I was going to win that game as well, but it was going to take me a long time. Like, the deck that I'd picked for the second one was a totally different one, and I was having to build up a lot of resources, and then eventually I'd be able to absolutely obliterate her as well. And she's like, listen, it's probably going to take you genuinely close to, I can't remember how many pulls she said, but with the way it was taking the game and how long it was playing, she's like, between an hour and 90 minutes to maybe win. And in an hour and 90 minutes, there's a chance I will get this one card that will completely fuck you. And that's literally all I'm waiting on. But she did a quick count, and it's like, I've got 75 cards left in this commander deck here. The chances of me getting it in that time. So we basically agreed on a draw. So I am technically undefeated. And I really wanted to therefore kind of get into Magic though. So it's been something I've been really obsessing over. I've been watching video after video after video, trying to learn it, trying to get into it, trying to see what set to go for. I was interested in the Avatar The Last Airbender set, despite never watching a single episode of Avatar. I have actually tried to get into Avatar since, and I watched an episode and I was really enjoying it, so that kind of made me want the Avatar set even more, because I was already vibing with the art style and all of the, well, just everything, to be honest, everything about it. It's something that I wish that I'd seen Avatar when I was a lot younger, because I have a feeling I would have really got obsessed with it. But maybe it's for the best, because I would have already bought all the Magic stuff, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. The other set, though, was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, that was a full-on hyperfixation when I was a kid. I absolutely loved it. It was the set that made me almost want to buy this here. And in part because they also had a 2v1 thing that they've released, where basically you can have two humans versus... It's technically an AI. Like, even when it's a board game and a card game, it is considered an AI. Basically, you get a card that tells you what the opponent would be doing, and I think you and your friend, who are playing cooperatively, take turns pulling the cards for the quote-unquote AI, and that looked really good. I was interested in that, and by the time I was finished watching all of these videos and everything like that, I had about £500 worth of cards in my my basket. I don't know why I said the word technology there. So I had about £500 worth of cards in my basket. And then it hit me. I still have no one to play this with. And there isn't anyone in my city. Like, obviously that sounds absurdist. And I'm not saying that I would be the only person in this entire city playing Magic. But there aren't any hobbyist stores here. There aren't any card stores or anything. Every time I've tried looking locally, the nearest thing was several hours away, and with my chronic illness issues and the amount of medical marijuana that I'm on, which I'm baked right now recording this video, and I probably should have got a drink out. I might be doing that in a second, because not surprisingly, weed makes you thirsty. So with all of those issues, because medical marijuana is legalised in the UK, but it's still got a large amount of taboo around it, and I can't just walk into a store and vape. So having a place hours away is just a deal breaker for me. So I'm sitting here with all of this money worth of cards in my cart, really wanting to get into the product. and I literally have no way to get into it, because short of playing against myself, which I'm pretty sure you can do that for training purposes, like with a lot of things, chess, all sorts of stuff like that, but for a fun purpose. Now, if you actually enjoy playing Magic one-on-one against yourself, if you genuinely have fun that way, then please don't. Like, this is just one of those, this is a me thing. I personally wouldn't enjoy doing that, and it's not from a standpoint of playing one player on a card game or anything, because I actually love board games. I've always loved board games, I've always loved card games, but I've never had anyone to play them with. Top Trumps was one of the only times I ever managed to get people to play card games, because I would usually carry a deck around with me, and if there were other kids around, I'd be able to play it. But for the most part, I never got to play most of this stuff until, and I know I'm about to potentially confuse some people, Risk of Rain 2, Slay the Spire, Dead Cells. If you're thinking I just mentioned 3 video games, you are incorrect. I just mentioned 3 board games. Now, Risk of Rain isn't actually out yet. It's something I backed on Kickstarter, but Dead Cells and Slay the Spire is out, and Slay the Spire is genuinely so fucking good as a board game that they've actually taken some of the ideas from Slay the Spire and put it into Slay the Spire 2 because of fan demand, saying, hey, yeah, this is kind of the best version of the game you've ever fucking made, because Slay the Spire, all of these games that I mentioned there, have a 1-player mode, but they also have an up to 4-player mode, and I would kill to be able to play it and get into Magic, as I say, and actually play it 1 player, but I literally can't do that. Now, I know there's other ways to play it online, like I know one of them's called Arena. I haven't fully looked into Arena yet, but at the same time, I don't think it's for me, because my understanding is you have to still buy cards, and if I have to buy digital boosters with no way of actually having the physical product, I'm not going to do that. And I know some physical products come with digital codes so that you can use those decks online, so maybe that would be the way to go about it, but I don't think any of the stuff that I actually want, like Avatar or Turtles, are those decks. So it makes it really fucking difficult, and it's why the episode title is about video games being so much more accessible than anything like that. And I'm trying my best with this channel to create videos that are actually hopefully getting people into games. I know these sorts of videos aren't that way, but the How to Get Into Gaming 2026 only came about because of severe tech issues, as I've mentioned about 20 fucking times on this channel, I know. But now I am finally starting to record all of the videos again, now that I've got this all sorted and I feel up to doing it. So I am recording those, because I want to help people get into games the same way as all the videos I've been watching help me get into Magic. Even though I'm not getting into Magic, because what's the point in spending console levels of money? The amount of money that I'd end up spending to get into Magic, to get all of the stuff I want, because there's no local shop to me, so I can't just buy singles, which is what everyone says is the way to play the game cheap. There's, even on a lot of the videos that I was watching, the differences between Standard and Commander, people are saying Standard only really works if you're rich, because it's a huge problem with the economy of Magic the Gathering at the moment, and the amount of cards you have to pull. So I'm sitting here thinking, I'm really glad that video games do not have that problem. If I want to play a game, I can just do this here. I can put a game on and play. If I want to play a game online with other people, I can put a game online and play with other people. Sometimes I'll be able to socialize. Sometimes I won't, because some consoles allow it. Some systems do. Some systems opt out. Things like that. But I'd be able to still get some socialization. And I understand it's a lot of money paying it. And what I was about to spend on cards is extreme. But I understand it's a lot of money to get into a console, but at least it's something you've always got accessible to you. You can actually get into the games, you can actually play them yourself, do things, and you can find a community from it. All of the benefits that real life board and card games have, video games have, and more so. And I'm kind of losing my train of thought. Oh no, there it is. With the online portion, obviously, you might get arseholes. And that's kind of true of everything. In every section of life, there always might be arseholes. But I've noticed there's definitely social decorum, I think, is what I'm trying to say. Where when you go into a physical game store, if someone is a bigot and does have a problem with you being openly, visibly queer or anything like that, that bigots tend to have a problem with, this tend to be on their best behavior because they know fine well that the establishment will actually kick them out and they don't want to get kicked out. Whereas online, you don't have that issue. So that's why you get a lot of toxic people online. And that is definitely something that I understand is way worse with video games. That it's part of why I don't actually play games online these days, to be honest, because there's a lot of shit that I don't accommodate anymore. And if people start making really shitty, either racist or bigoted jokes, I am the person who will go, hey, that shit's not cool, and start a fight, and I just don't have the energy in me to constantly fight about everything. So that's the other reason why I feel people in a physical space also tend not to escalate, and I know you can get Karens and everything, but it's one of those that people tend to be on their best behaviour. Now, yes, this is obviously, and I know this might seem like a tangent, but I am going somewhere. This is one of those things where it's, if the only reason you're being a decent person is because you fear repercussions, then you're not really a decent person. It is definitely one of those instances, but at least that is something that does work in the favour of physical games, and I wanted to actually point that out because I am very, very aware just how toxic and awful online is and how nothing is really moderated. Even the places that claim they're moderated tend not to be that great. I've been in Discord servers ran by trans people who then put moderators in charge who called everyone in the LGBTQIA+ degenerates. And I'm like, what the fuck? You are quite literally in a server run by 2 trans people. And how did you even get made a mod when this is how you, like, so even in spaces like that, you fully get arseholes, and I fully acknowledge that. But when you do actually find someone who is genuinely nice online, you at least understand that they're actually genuinely fucking nice, and they're not just being nice to your face because they fear repercussions. So it's like, how to put it? Let's say, and I know this is totally unrealistic, but let's say 90% of people online are arseholes and 10% are great. Versus in a physical store where you might have 90% of positive interactions and only 10% of them negative. But the ones that you get that are positive online are usually more genuine, because the ones that you get positive in real life, as soon as you then try to hang out with this person outside of this area, that's when it becomes known, oh, you just tolerate me because you don't want to get kicked out of here, you're actually hate everything about me. Like, and from a personality standpoint, you're allowed to hate people. If you hate people because they're a minority of any form, that is obviously a problematic problem. I can't believe I just said problematic problem. Did I mention I'm currently very baked at the moment for a migraine? I'm also incredibly tired because despite recording this at about 9 AM, I'm technically due in bed in 2 hours because of when I woke up, because, you know, chronic illness and sleep cycle shit. It's fun. So, yeah. I think I am slowly coming to the end of the video though, because I'm running out of things to actually say. I am really grateful that I at least have video games to be able to do this with, because I'm currently in this mode of it's just genuinely weird that I want to spend this level of money despite not having any way of ever using it. And maybe I should just do it because I can still enjoy things for a different reason, and maybe in a year's time I might find some place to play Magic the Gathering. I might do that, you know, but at the same time I'm sitting here thinking, outside of Zelda's possibly the only franchise that if they cross over with Magic that I'd be foolish enough to bankrupt myself, essentially, trying to collect every last damn thing, even though I've got no one to play it with, because I do weird things for Zelda. I do. Like, Zelda and me have an unhealthy relationship. I'm very aware of this. So yeah, it's just one of those, though. I wish that there was a way to at least play a digital version of it without spending a fuck ton of money. I wish I could just buy the game. That's why I actually started this video by loading up that Pokemon trading card thing. I wish they still made games like that. And I know I've already mentioned Slay the Spire, and Slay the Spire is a great roguelike deck builder, but I want to be able to play the Pokemon trading card game like I used to as a child. I want to be able to get into Magic the Gathering and just pay like a £50 fee for a single video game price that I can then just constantly play and not need to worry about buying cards for it all the time. it really does suck that capitalism is at the point of that's why they don't make them, because they don't find, well, they'd make less money if that was available. They want you to have to engage with all of the predatory monetization of the booster packs and everything. They want you in that ecosystem, so you're spending constant amounts of money. If I was able to just buy a Pokemon trading card game, I'd never need to buy a single card. And I haven't actually bought a card in decades. And the cards that I did have, I gave them all away to a young kid who, yeah, gave a lot away. I gave a lot away. I didn't have like a Charizard or anything like that. And I know fine well I've mentioned this in at least one other video. I don't know which video it is, or if it's even gone up yet. But I give a lot of Pokemon cards away. And I know fine well a lot of them are worth some pretty decent money now. So yeah. But that is just who I am. Firstly, I'm a very unlucky person. Secondly, I am genuinely a giver. And it was a cool enough kid who had a shit life. And I've been the kid with the shit life. So I was just like, he's obsessed with Pokemon cards. I've got dozens, hundreds of cards that I have absolutely no use for. So I'll just give them. And yeah, that kid's probably made a lot of money because of that. So yeah. I think I am kind of done with the video now. I'm losing my train of thought. If not, if I'm not done with the video, I mean, everything else is gone. But I think I've mentioned and touched upon all the stuff that I actually wanted to. And yeah, it's... if you've got the ability to actually do these things, I'm kind of jealous and envious of you. And wish that I had the ability to just run around and... or even... genuinely travel to one of these 2 to 3 hour stores away. 2 to 3 hour away stores, I think, is how I should word that. I wish that I actually had the ability to do that, because I would like to get into it. I really was enjoying Magic, and it sucks that I can't even play a digital format and against like actual CPUs and AIs, because that's the other thing. I'm pretty sure with Arena you have to play with other people, and as someone who's very much just learning the game, I don't want to like take 10 minutes per turn. I don't even know if there would be a time limit or anything. Yeah, I am definitely waffling now. It's one of those. These videos tend to be a lot of, I don't want to say therapy, but at the same time, sometimes it is just that I need to get things off my chest. But I also want to discuss genuine problems and come up with genuine things, and sometimes bring up actual stories and that. And this is one where it was more a case of, I just really wish that that a lot of things that I was into were more accessible to me. And I know that might be a very felt sentiment, because there might be a lot of things out there that a lot of people wish they could do as easy as other people. And it's why, again, I wanted to actually do this channel, like come back from this channel, because if you genuinely are a person who is sitting there and has been trying to get into games, and these videos won't help, I know that, but if any of the stuff that I'm hopefully about to start putting up is actually helpful to you, if you'd watched those and then you've watched this because you wanted to see what these sorts of videos were like, and I fully get if you don't like this. Like, this isn't for everyone. I always say that with a lot of things. Some of the videos are going to be trauma dumping, some of them are just going to be things like this. I fully get this isn't for everyone, but again, sometimes I just want to get things off my chest. If the only person I end up helping with these videos, the storytime videos, is me, then so be it. That's still helping someone. It's helping me, and quite frankly, I've went through a lot of shit in my life and need some help sometimes, you know? So yeah, I'm going to end it here though, and say, hopefully something I've done at some point has helped at least one person watching this get into games at any point, because video games are fucking brilliant. They truly are, and I start to appreciate them more and more the more closed off I'm getting in real life, because I'm really struggling to socialize with just anyone these days. And that was another reason why I wanted to get into Magic, because I thought maybe it would force me to actually find a place to socialize. So then find out that there literally wasn't a single place in my city that does this. It's like, oh well then, I guess I'm just fucked. So yeah, until the next time, I truly do hope you have a great rest of your day. And yeah, bye. As soon as I stopped recording, I remembered my train of thought. So hopefully this will only be about a minute. Cast your mind back to when I said the amount of money I was spending I realised was extreme, but it was kind of console money. that is ultimately what I realised. It was a case of I was looking at so much money. Even if I didn't get all of the stuff that was in my basket, and I would have, again, most likely removed some stuff, things like collector's boosters are the only reliable way to get specific cards, like rare tier and mythical tier, and they're like £40 per booster pack. For £40, I could get both Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong, 2 games that would last me 100 hours. Now, obviously, I've already got them and played them a ton, but the amount of indie games or even full price AAA games that I would be better off buying, and I can actually do that by just going to the eShop as well, or going to Steam, going to a digital storefront. I don't need to worry about finding a local card store to be able to actually buy these things, or finding a reputable site to be able to buy singles or anything like that. I just have instant access, and it's definitely something that I fully get why you can't do this sort of thing with a lot of board games and card games, and I also fully get why some places would never, well, some companies would never do it because of the amount of money they lose by doing it. But I really do wish someone would actually make these things a lot more accessible. I know there's a website out there that one of my friends, Alex, they absolutely love board games as much as me, but unfortunately they're Dutch, and that's not obviously a slight at Dutch people. I just mean they live in Holland. I do not. So I can't play board games with them, but every now and then I'll play online with them because they have access to a site that they pay for to be able to play board games with their friends. Even something being more widespread like that, being able to get that as an app on a console would be amazing, because as much as I have a PC, I'm pretty sure you actually need to know people and invite people. I don't think there's any way to just play against randoms online doing that. I might have to actually inquire thinking about it. This is one of those things that maybe I actually do need to message Alex and say, hey, can you just play with random people, because I might be signing up for this. So yeah, I think that's what I'm off to do now, because I did remember my train of thought. I wanted to add this to the video because it was an important point that I wanted to bring up about the eShop, about being able to just buy whatever I want on demand, play whatever I want whenever I want, and how, again, I actually wish, really do wish that I had any way to get into Magic right now, because it is wild that I want to spend money, and I know fine well it's silly to do so, which is why I'm kind of hoping they don't actually do a Legend of Zelda crossover, because if I try to collect all of that, I know fine well there's cards in the Lord of the Rings set that sold for 2 million. The chance of getting them is slim to none. Now, I'm hoping that's just a variant of a variant of a variant type thing, but I know so little about Magic, for all I know, it could actually be a legitimate, Black Lotus. That's one of the only references I actually understand. It was such a powerful card. It was the Charizard of the deal with Magic the Gathering. So maybe it is just that there are cards that have got such a low pull rate. Completing the Triforce would end me. It would bankrupt me. It just would. If I managed to somehow get one piece of the Triforce, I'd want all 3. So yeah. Anyway, until the next time. Segue over. Train of thought remembered. Bye. And that was the end of the video. Just like I said it was. A couple of weeks ago, when I actually recorded it. And for those who know, will understand why this video is now cut into Cyberpunk 2077. Now, in part, that is because I'm weird about this, and I try to actually put the game footage be something that I am discussing in the video. I don't show absolutely everything I bring up, because sometimes that would be a nightmare, and you'd be talking about hundreds of things. I've done a classic video recently where I brought up about 50 different games, so that would have been a nightmare to edit. But Cyberpunk 2077 kind of just got a trading card game announced on Kickstarter. A really fucking good looking one that's been made with community stuff in mind, that's not predatory in a lot of ways that trading card games are. You don't need to know anything about Cyberpunk to be able to get into it. You don't need to know anything about trading card games to be able to get into it. You don't need to purchase stupidly rare cards. They are designing a system where the decks are smaller so that you need less cards, so that you don't have to worry about getting 4 copies of a Soul Stone, like in Magic the Gathering's current meta at the time of recording this section, at least. to be fair, I say that as if I fully know Magic. That's just from what I was able to gather from videos where they were saying that's kind of the new meta, and they were expecting other Soul Stones to be added in, well, other Infinity Stones to be added in, that would have also added to the cost of a standard deck. So yeah, spent not as much as I feared I would, but spent a little bit of money backing this on Kickstarter because, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of the video game of Cyberpunk, to be honest. I enjoy it enough, I'll get through it, I'll finish it, but I really like the lore and the characters and everything, so the fact that I've been jonesing desperately for a trading card game, and now I've got one coming to me in a franchise where I do actually know a bit about it, and I do like the themes, and I like the sound of the game, and I like a look of a lot of the accessories, and yeah, so yeah, as much as I'm saying I can't believe the amount of money I was willing to spend, yeah, I've kind of spent console money on another card game instead of Magic the Gathering. But yeah, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, you can't take money with you or anything, you know. So if you're financially able to get it at that moment in time, then do so. Because at the end of the day, we need a little bit of joy in our life. And I have truly been after a card game for a reason. I've not been able to stop thinking about it since I recorded that video 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago at this point. And yeah, I didn't expect to be adding on to the fucking end of it and suddenly announcing, oh yeah, actually it turns out there's a really, really cool looking Cyberpunk game coming out that just really hits all of the vibes that I wanted from a trading card game, with none of the pitfalls or the issues of needing to know tons about different cards and different franchises that I don't have any interest in, because there's about 57 different alternate universes now with Magic the Gathering, and they're adding more and more every year. Yeah, Cyberpunk exists, and if this is the first you're learning of it, I will make sure that this video at least goes up while that campaign is still live, so go and back it if you want to, because yeah, it looks really, really good. It looks a damn sight better than the gameplay footage you're getting here. Not played this game in about 7 months, and I can't even remember saving at a boss fight when I last played it. I honestly thought I'd actually beat this boss fight, so I'm now starting to worry that I forgot to save after beating it, but either way, the video now is actually done. So until next time, truly do hope you have a great rest of your day. Apologies if this video is the reason that you're about to go spend a lot of money on Kickstarter. But on the plus side, you can defer payments so that you can pay for your whole order over 3 separate months. And that's the only reason I'd actually be able to spend the money that I've just justified spending on this, to get a couple of decks, booster boxes, and a few little accessories. Yeah. Until next time, bye.